Hi, I hope you're having a great day. Today we will talk about our CHERNOBYL project. We will talk about exponential growth and decay. Also, we will use examples in real life to explain this. And we will talk about how we felt with our teammates doing this project. I hope you enjoy it.
This is a basic graph of the function y equals 2 to the x. Its characteristic point is at 0, 1. Its domain is from negative infinity to positive infinity. Its range goes from 0 to positive infinity without touching the 0 on the x-axis because it has a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0.
April 26, 1986. The control room was getting ready for a safety test on Reactor 4, the communist regime proudest technological achievement. Two senior engineers were doubtful about the level of energy to test the reactor. It was too low and kept decreasing. According to them, the safe amount of energy for the safe use of the reactor couldn't be below 700 megawatts. They were on the 500s. They were ordered to keep going and that they shouldn't ask anything. The Chernobyl explosion accident in Ukraine at 1:23 a.m. was due to a flaw in a reactor design that was operated with personnel that didn't have the appropriate training to use it, as well as dictatorship behavior from the man in charge, Anatoly Dyatlov, who was a seeker of dominance of power according to his records. The Chernobyl reactor killed workers and inhabitants. A few days after the accident, people died due to poisoning from the radiation.
The acute radiation syndrome was said to be diagnosed in 237 people who were in the place of the accident, and also the ones who helped to clean. Between 1987 and 2004, 19 people passed away, but their deaths were necessarily related to the radiation poisoning. The steam explosion from this accident was caused the release of at least 5% of the radioactive reactor core into our atmosphere. The resettlement of areas from where people were removed was a sure thing happening. By 2011, Chernobyl was stated as a tourist attraction. This accident was believed to be a direct consequence of Cold War isolation and lack of safety culture.
Exponential growth. It is when the growth rate of the value in the mathematical function is proportional to the current value, having as an outcome of growth in a period of time. Our real-life example is the following. The population of a city was 4,000 in 2010, and there is a growing rate of 2.5 annually. We use the exponential growth formula predicting that the population in 2020 would be of 5,120 people. Exponential decay. It is when an original amount is reduced by a constant rate through a period of time. Exponential decay is used to predict the final outcome due to the losses. Our real-life example is the following. When Apple releases a new iPhone, the older versions suffer a decrease in the demand of the product. 2015. 50,000 of the older version of the iPhone are being sold and the product is having a 30% of decrease in sales annually. We use the exponential decay formula predicting that the amount of sales in 2017 would be of 24,500 products being sold.
What are the environmental consequences in a global scale of other nuclear disasters and use of nuclear weapons? Other natural disasters have a lot of damage on the environment. Natural disasters like tornadoes can have a very big impact in destroying trees. Trees take about 100 years to grow. Nuclear weapons immediately kill all living things that are in the target zone area. Nuclear weapons release a big amount of radioactive chemicals that pollute the air. Nuclear weapons emit a lot of gases that normally end up in oceans that will affect animals living in the oceans. What do you think about these consequences? What would be a solution proposal for this situation? These are very hard consequences on the environment. Consequences like the ones from natural disasters can be prevented because they are natural disasters and they can happen once in a while. Since most of the nuclear weapon effects come from testing, these effects can be prevented or lowered by stopping these testings. Testings are being done underground, undersea, and at ground level. How did we feel working like this? Did we like it? Was it difficult? What did I like the most of working with my teammates in this form? We liked the idea of interacting with other campuses because we got to meet them and see how we each other work in our different ways. It was a bit challenging at first for us to communicate with each other. We had to communicate via email at first to get our phone numbers, and then we could do a group of WhatsApp. In the group of WhatsApp, we could tell each other what to do or divide our parts, and that was easy for us to communicate. We liked the most of working together, the challenge we had to overcome, and to meet them to know how we each other work differently.
What is exponential growth? What is the function and graph that models and represents it? What are the main characteristics? What is exponential decay? Exponential growth is an increasing number or size at a constantly growing rate. The function is A equals PE to the power of R times T. Its main characteristics include that they have a J-shaped curve, always positive, and increases in proportion to the growing total of number or size. Exponential decay is a decrease in proportion to its current value. What are the implications of using nuclear energy? Do you consider nuclear energy to be clean energy? Nuclear energy is considered to be one of the most eco-friendly types of energy since it produces fewer greenhouse gas emissions. However, it also has disadvantages such as the radioactive waste disposal and the possibility of having a nuclear accident. Nuclear energy is cleaner than other types of energy we commonly use. However, before using it, governments or people should evaluate the consequences it might have. Are you aware that there is a nuclear energy plant in Mexico? Where is it? Do you think it's safe? Do you agree with the fact that there is a nuclear energy plant in your country? Yes, the nuclear energy plant is located in Laguna Verde, Veracruz. It may be a strategic place for a nuclear plant to be located due to its high power generating capacity and its low operation costs. Nevertheless, it's not the best place concerning safety. Laguna Verde, located in Veracruz, has a sea, and any natural disaster, like an undersea earthquake or tsunami, could make damage to the nuclear energy plant, resulting in an explosion.
Could the Chernobyl 1986 nuclear disaster have been prevented? How? Once the explosion happened, was there any way to stop the radiation spread and its pollution? Do you think that the radioactive pollution generated by this disaster reached Mexico? What are at least 4 environmental consequences in global scale of the Chernobyl 1986 disaster? Yes, taking the security preventions the government told the nuclear disaster could be prevented. No, the radiation couldn't be stopped because once there is spread, there's no way to stop it, and pollution will spread all over the city. It didn't reach Mexico because it is spread 4,000 kilometers only. Also, the accident occurred nearly 2 decades ago. Controversially, it still surrounds the real impact of the disaster. More than 200 kilometers of Europe were contaminated, also because radioactive strontium and plutonium particles were released are heavier than many other radioactive particles. They were deposited within 100 kilometers of the destroyed reactor, followed by strontium-90, plutonium, and its decay products. We remain in the environment over a longer term of 100 to 1,000 years through at low levels.